All right, this is Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, and we are actually doing a recording tonight with Alex Serfass, who is, let me just make sure I get all this right, executive producer. We have Leto, our psychic medium, and we again have Chris Avellino. He is director of photography. You have seen Chris on here before when Ron Black was on. So tonight's just Chris.
Yep.
Okay. So
Welcome
we
back.
are
Thanks for
so
having
we
us.
so we are going to be talking about the event that is going to be coming up. But before then, we are going to go ahead and do intros. I know Chris is familiar with this, but we're gonna we're gonna show um Em and Alex how we do this. So Fuzzy, you want to start?
Sure. Hey everyone, I'm here mainly as a gaming podcaster, but also part-time horror podcaster as well. As far as what I've been doing this past week or so, it's been getting my podcast studio together. So hopefully there's not too much of an echo in comparison to previous mic setups. But just been playing some video games and preparing, the lighting and all that other stuff. But hopefully we'll get the camera set up when I get more of the hardware as far as the bracketry and stuff to mount it. But other than that, we're gonna have some fun asking Astral Paranormal some questions about an upcoming event, as well as you know everything about their group and how it came to be. But Sweet Sadie, what have you been up to this past week?
Oh, a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
Pretty busy getting some stuff planned out coming up for the next couple months. I have some filming I'm going to be doing, a couple cons I plan on going to, work, of course. I just went to, let's see, Nightmare Weekend a couple weekends ago. That was fun. Um, Finished filming Sixth Ave last month with some of the Terrifier people. That was a lot of fun doing that. Michael C. Williams is in it. Um, Ron Black. Ron was in it with me. That was a lot of fun working with him in that too. So, but so busy coming up.
All right. So what about Chris? What you been doing?
Today we launched our Indiegogo for the one portion of our horror anthology coming up. Um, so setting all that up, getting that ready. Also working on reviewing footage for Astral Paranormal and planning many, many other things all at the same time.
All right. So Alex, give it a try. What have you been doing?
Well, Chris mentioned we're going through a lot of footage. We wrapped recently on the first episode, so we are heavy into the post-production process, and that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks.
Okay. And M, what's been going on?
Well, the question should be, what am I not doing? So, on the Astral Paranormal side, I'm actually working on some artwork for the 1010 event of some of the entities that I've been seeing, so we can have that there to display. Then on the Lights of Midnight side, because I also do a podcast with my friend Chastity, we're ramping that up for October. On the fine art medium side, I'm working on getting my cards advertised since I have my Oracle deck coming out, and which is really exciting. And that will also be featured at the 1010 event. And I'm working on my new book and getting stuff going on my YouTube channel. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I can see. So for me, um, since last we left, um, it's been just drama city at my school. So that's been a lot going on, but outside of that, I've been just trying to rest and everything because, again, we have Crimson Harvest coming up, and now we have this. So I wanted you guys, I'm not sure who wants to introduce what the event is. I want you guys to be able to say all of the details, of course. But then we want to talk about how this all started. So if somebody would tell us what is going on and then tell us, how this all started would be great.
Okay. So on October 10th, we are going to be in Middletown, Delaware at the Everett Theatre. The Everett Theatre is the place that we have been investigating for the past 8 months. We're going to have a live in-person event where we're going to show some of our evidence, talk about the group, and share some kind of demo reading from Emily's deck. So we're really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. The group got started back in January. It started out as just a couple of us, and originally it was just going to be a really small YouTube channel thing that we, would do our best to make a decent production. But what ended up happening is Trimungus got interested in what we were doing, and they got involved in our production. So what we're doing now is creating a 6-episode series that we are going to be shopping distribution for at the end of. So it's gone from just this little project with 3 or 4 people, and now we've got a 9-person crew and all these different places to investigate. It's been a really fun, exciting journey.
All right. So I think everybody's curious. How did you guys get together in the first place? Who met who first? What happened?
So I ended up working on A Night In by Hayden Campaign, and that just happens to be Emily's husband. And do you want to talk about what happened on A Night In?
Yeah, so Alex, you were the first AD, right? On his on his short film. And we got together talking about some of the things that we were interested in and some of my experiences. And I was talking about how I really wanted to do investigations and how it would be really cool if we kind of formed a team and did that. And it kind of just snowballed from there.
Yeah, from there, we decided that we were going to go ahead and try to do this and see if we could gather more crew members to help us out. And I went on to a Flickr episode with Black Avenue Films and kind of told them what I was up to. And Chris was immediately interested in seeing if he could join the project, and I'm so grateful that he did, because I don't know where we'd be without him.
As soon as she told me she was doing a paranormal investigation show, I was like, can I please be a part of that? I don't care what I got to do. I just want to be a part of it. And
Yeah.
pretty much went from there.
Yeah, you're in everything, Chris. Absolutely everything.
I try. I'm not in nearly as much as Ron, but...
Well, let's put it this way. You may not be on screen, but you are definitely somewhere in the background.
Oh, yeah. For sure in the background. Doing my part.
Mm-hmm. So, I've known Chris. I met Ron first, and then I met Chris. And recently, he called us up. He did an on-call, and he was like, "Hey, we need some people. Who wants to come out?" And of course, I'm like, "Fuzzy, let's go." And Fuzzy's like, "I don't want to go. We have to do this. We have to do that." Right, Fuzzy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We
we
got
went
stuff
anyway.
around the house to finish up, but yeah,
No,
we went
you
anyway.
don't.
But we went anyway.
Be an adult. It can wait.
Exactly. We didn't want an adult, But yeah, I know Chris has been, he knows a lot of people just be like, "Hey, oh, that sounds cool. Let me do that. Can I do that?" So when you guys go out for projects and stuff like that, and that's how you meet all of these, new people and you network and things and everything, what has been kind of like your favorite thing that has helped you do this?
Um, it's pretty easy when you're making shorts and people want to be in front of the camera. They want to be acting. So pretty much you just say, "Hey, do you want to die tonight?" And a lot of people are pretty responsive to that, and they're like, "Yes, absolutely. Please kill me in the most gruesome way you can." And you know, we try to deliver as much as we can with the bare bones budget that we have. We
Mhm.
we try to kill people as often as possible.
And now you're not only have we gotten to kill people, but now we're doing, this project. And how did you choose Everett Theatre? How did you choose that? You could have chose anything, but why that
Well,
one?
that was an easy no-brainer. Trimungus, Mark and Jess, they're a husband and wife team production company. They can do everything. They also volunteer their time at the Everett Theatre, and they have done so for many years. I think 2 years now, or maybe it could be more. But anyway, Trimungus was already affiliated with the Everett Theatre. They have been in a good standing with them since they filmed a short at the theater a couple of years ago. So it was a place that we would be able to have full access to get the team trained, ready to go, get lots of experience under our belts, and so the Everett Theater was a no-brainer thanks to Trimungus.
I can't be the only one asking questions. Where you guys at?
I
All
was.
right.
I didn't want to be rude. I was just waiting.
No, go ahead.
Oh, now you can't put me on the spot. Fuzzy, go ahead. You said you had a lot of questions ready to go.
Yeah. When it comes to paranormal activity and stuff, like prior to the movies, did any of you experience anything like strange or unusual? Like, you walk past a place and get like the hair on the back of your neck kind of raise up, or, you turn around, you see like a shadow move kind of thing. Any weird experiences like that growing up or anything?
I think Emily can take
The question is, where don't I experience it? Well, the thing is, it's like no matter where you are, everywhere is haunted. It's just a matter of perspective, really. And like a matter of how haunted things are and whether or not they actually want to get your attention. So for me, it's like no matter where I go, I see stuff regardless. So I mean, I have experiences no matter what, no matter where I am. Especially if I'm trying to tap in and I want to tap in, then absolutely. When I'm not trying to tap in, it's not as frequent. It's usually the stuff that's like heavier that tries to get your attention that will get my attention, especially in hotels. I freaking hate hotels for that reason. They're like worse than hospitals. But yeah, I mean it depends, and it has to do with a lot of like where energy sits. So I mean, depending on your questions, I mean I have so many answers.
Okay. Well, I guess another thing would be, I guess, when was your earliest experience as far as knowing that you could sense things in that manner?
Okay. So when I realized that what I was experiencing was paranormal, I would say I was about 26 or 27 years old.
Mhm.
Um, and that was when I was seeing things and getting pulled out of my bed. And it was like the type of stuff you can't debunk because it's like in your face kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So for me, it was that.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, just to jump on that track. So I know some people feel things. Some people see things. Have you ever seen?
Yep, I get all the above. I can see, feel, hear. Like I got all of the clairs. It's just depending on. Sometimes it depends on like astrology and where certain energies are, if that makes sense, on how I will feel it. So right now we just had, I believe it was a lunar eclipse. And I had a lot of, I would say, clairvoyant and claircognizant and clairaudient stuff going on above everything. But I can feel everything. Now, when it comes to seeing stuff, most of the time it's not with my eyeballs, but it's like with, like you're seeing it in your mind's eye. It kind of, if you ever, when you're thinking of something and you're trying to visualize something, it's like when you're trying to visualize something, it's like that, but you're not trying to visualize it on purpose. It just comes to your mind on its own. But it's like that feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I have seen things with my eyeballs, but it's more rare for me to see things with my eyeballs.
Okay. So I know a lot of people have watched, the paranormal reenactments, and they've watched, some of the other paranormal shows on TV that have been on back as early as the 1990s. So when you see a reenactment show, not a live one, not if they went into one of the penitentiaries, which prisons are probably one of the worst, as well as hospitals, of course, and schools. Apparently, schools are pretty bad too. But when you're seeing the reenactments, how do you guys feel about those? They are kind of a little dramatized. Is there anything in there that is kind of unbelievable from your experience?
Well, I think for most of us, we're not really into the traumatization of paranormal experiences. So for me, it can be a little off-putting. And I also feel like when there's shows that are trying to collect data and evidence and do things in a more scientific manner, it kind of gives those shows a little bit of a bad rap because of the dramatization. It feels disingenuous, and that's one of the reasons that we all came together and really wanted to make this show, because we really want to show how it actually is and not how they make it out on television, but show the real deal and the hours and hours that we spend, waiting for evidence and the reality of what a paranormal investigation really is. Anybody else? Chris, how do you feel about dramatization?
I mean, I understand it for the sake of television. I get it. You can't record everything. It's impossible. So understanding that TV needs to be TV and entertaining, I understand it. But 9 times out of 10, the dramatization is so insane, so unrealistic that it makes it really hard to watch for me. It's almost impossible to watch a lot of times. I'm sure their first season in, for most shows, they're legit. They try to be as legit as possible, and then I'm sure by season 2, season 3, it's all dramatization. They're trying to build up drama wherever they can. It's basically a reality TV show at that point, just like Housewives and all those other terrible shows on TV that are sadly everybody's guilty pleasure, but they're not real, and I think we all know that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of reality TV, and neither is Fuzzy.
No, I've I think MTV kind of spoiled us or ruined us all as far as starting that with the real world. But yeah, I rather experience the real world, real life, in real time as opposed to watch up a scripted real world kind of thing. But I think probably my biggest curiosity, has there ever been a time, and this is probably more focused for M, where have you gone to an area intentionally, like looking for either feedback or uh, see if there's a presence? Like I know in like this area here in Pennsylvania, there's a couple of like old tunnels or abandoned tunnels that were, one of them I think was for like a railroad, and the other one was just like a regular car tunnel that they no longer use because of the road and so forth. But have there been like areas that you've specifically gone to just to kind of get a feel or sense of what some of the legend or lore of that region might be about?
Yeah, so actually, when I was first having my paranormal activity, or I should say, when I was first discovering like my psychic abilities, because I was very skeptic, because I was very science oriented, like because I first went to school as a bio major, but down the line I had changed it to social deviance. So like I was very skeptic and I'm very evidence based. So I actually went to the Brinton Lodge in Douglasville as like a test to see, and I took one of my friends to make sure that I'm not crazy and using my ego to like pretty much having like a biased opinion to be like, oh, I'm right, if that makes sense. So someone could tell me, oh no, that's just you wanting to be right. So she could tell me that I'm full of shit, you know? So I went there and they said it was really haunted. So I wanted to call bullshit while also see if the things I was picking up were legit. And well, I knew nothing about the place, and they actually on their website they don't have any history really, like in terms of the paranormal, on there on purpose, because they don't want to dilute any of the investigations or any psychics that come in by giving them information and messing stuff up by giving that to them. So I went in blind and I was picking up a lot of stuff and I was giving her all that information, and then the tour guide would then validate every single thing, and I was just like, what the fuck? Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but I was like,
It's
what the
fine.
I was like, what the heck? How is this even real? And then so as I was getting validated, I was looking for more and more evidence of paranormal stuff, and then I started to see more and more, because the more you look, the more you're going to find. And I the first time I saw anything with my eyeballs was there, and I had seen a man, a nasty man. But he actually went home with me and added to the haunting cluster F that was going on there. But that was the first location and the first investigation I ever went to, just to test like the psychic abilities that I have, also to see if this stuff was even real, but also to see like if I would get anything back.
Yeah, you're allowed to curse on here. It's okay. We're
Okay,
21
cool.
and up. Forgot to tell you guys that. Yeah, so I know what it's like to feel things. And I also know what, it's like to see things and hear things. And which one is the scariest for you?
I would say it's hard, because I would say the clairvoyance, only because you can see some really nasty things. And
No.
it's like sometimes they will present your worst fears and they don't care. And you do get desensitized, but they always try to top it, to try to get you scared, because they feed off of that energy. But the other aspect too is like sometimes you'll see something, even if it's like a future event that you don't want to know or see, whether it's somebody's death or something, whether it's triggering or violent, like, it's like, do you want to tell that person, hey, I saw you get into a car accident, or hey, I saw you die? And it's like, do you tell that person that information, or do you just like not? Because what if you're wrong? That's the scariest part for me, because then if you tell them and you're wrong, or you tell them and you're right, then they think there's something wrong with you no matter what.
So let's pose that question to everybody. If M or anybody else that you know that sees things and you know, kind of gets visions and stuff like that, would you want them to tell you?
Nope. Nope. My anxiety is way too high for all that. I would die waiting on something. No, thank you. Ignorance is bliss. Just let me be.
Alex, Chris?
I think I would, because here's the thing, and this is different. I have a relationship with Emily where I have grown to trust her. We've worked together a lot. So I've seen all the validation of everything that she comes through with, through multiple different people that she would have no way of knowing anything about them. So when it comes to Emily, I would want to hear it because we have that trust and that bond. But from somebody else, no, I don't want to hear it. Chris, how about you?
I think you're on mute.
I would probably like to know, but I would also want it to be vague. I don't need specific details, but just like a broad warning if it was something that could be bad. You know, my mom has told me things like that in the past. Like, she had a dream that I was going to die in a car accident. I was just about ready to go on a 8-hour car trip. So it's like, thanks. That's fun. I didn't need to know all that. So now I'm like extra stressed driving and could cause issues like, you actually cause an accident that way. But, just being a little bit vague. Yeah. And she was vague about it, but it's still something you got to worry about.
Can I add something to the car accident at dreams? And don't worry, it's not like a thing towards you or anything.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a lot of those dreams, and I've learned that I feel like, and this is just my opinion based off of my experiences, I think a lot of it has to do with anxiety, and it's just coming through your subconscious, and that's like our subconscious warning us through dreams. So in that case, I feel like, because like I said, I've had so many car accident dreams, whether it's me, my husband, or just people I know, and nothing's ever bad happened to them. And I think it's just my anxiety coming up saying, hey, you're stressed about a situation. So I think when it comes to that certain type of dream, I think that's where it kind of falls. So when it comes to death, like dreams and things, I usually get a warning, especially friends and family. And just so you know, guys, you guys are fine.
I'm interested in Fuzzy. Fuzzy, would you want to
know? Yeah, but like it's weird for me because I sometimes, truth be told, sometimes I get those types of visions and stuff, and it's like deciphering on how recent or how soon of a window it might be, kind of thing. Like some of them, like Em said, it's more of like anxiety or stress type of deal. But I've had some where it's like, do I say something or will that make matters worse? Like before our cruise that we were going on, I'm like, it would totally suck if my wife winds up like breaking her leg or breaking her ankle. Like I kept on having that vision, and it's like the morning of she falls down the stairs. Luckily she didn't break anything, but it's like I sat on that for like at least a week, and I'm like, and it's like I feel like I'm a knucklehead saying, "Oh, be careful on the stairs." It's like I should have bought a house without stairs. That's why we want to move so we don't have to worry about stairs anymore. But it's like,
you never told me about that, and I go and fall downstairs. You should have been at the bottom of the stairs.
I was still in bed at the time, and it was one of those things like I probably should get up, but I am like really really tired, and it's like
We were
I,
tired.
I didn't know what the window of when this was going to occur, and since it didn't occur, and then it's the morning of, it's like I probably should have known better, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
For me, I agree with Chris with the vagueness aspect. If it's something towards me, but I've usually had my own warnings for myself, and it's like the only thing I'm blind to is the thing I'm most afraid of is flying,
Hmm.
and I've had like out of what 8 or 9 flights, I've had 3 really 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 bad ones and one not so bad but not great either. So it's like I'm totally afraid to fly, and I was considering it this year, and then as we all watched the news, there was a lot of flying issues. Although none of the flights that I would have taken or anything, but it you know added that extra sense of panic type of thing. But I would totally like to know. It's just even if it's vague, if it's in sync with something I may have had a thought of or something along those lines, and it's like, okay, yeah, maybe I sit this one out. Maybe I postpone this vacation, or let's go shopping on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, or something
He doesn't
along
like
those lines.
he doesn't like to fly. He's never liked to fly after he had his military jump flight and everything. But I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think I want to know, because if I change events, I'm gonna wind up in Final Destination. I mean, that's just my luck.
It
So
follows
yeah.
you.
That's why
That's
that's
what
why I
I
think
do.
if you keep it vague, then like you don't really know what you're changing and how it's going to affect it. Maybe you're just a little bit more aware, and just that little extra awareness in your nerves helps you to not make mistakes as often, because
Mhm.
we sort of cruise on autopilot a lot, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
in that sense, it's always good to have a little wake up call without actually getting injured in the process. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to be hurt to have a wake up call. Somebody warns you, and a vague warning might entice you to just be a little bit more aware.
So
Makes sense.
I will tell you this in reference to me. As a teacher, you're supposed to you were taught to reflect on everything. Well, karma don't like me, because every time I even do anything outside of bounds, I get slapped 10 times worse. So I don't really trust that I wouldn't wind up in Final Destination. Karma don't like me. Um, so, but from everybody else, what have your experiences been in reference to, um, you know, when you got into this? Was it just because it's something that you always experienced as being cool, always experienced as being fun, but or do you have that more personal that you've seen, or you've heard something, or even felt something on your own, even if it was just one experience? Because I know Em has experienced a lot of it, but has anybody else on the panel experienced that at least once or twice in their life?
So I did experience something interesting when I was 10 years old. My mother was getting remarried, and they wanted to get married in Vegas. So we all flew down to Vegas, and we were coming out of our hotel room and going into an elevator room. And when we opened, there was like a glass door in between the hallway and the elevator room that separated it. And when we opened the door to the elevator room, it was like weirdly cold, like not air conditioner cold. It felt like it was 40 degrees cold. It was really strange. We didn't think a lot about it at the time, but it was our first day there in Vegas, and there was this leopard print bench in the elevator room that my mom thought was adorable. So she had me posing on the cheetah print bench. And when we got our photos back, and granted, this was film, so, who knows, it could be an anomaly from print, but there appeared to be an entity rushing at me in the picture that we took in that elevator room. So that was something that I've always thought back on and been curious about, and I've always wanted to believe, and I've always wanted to see more evidence. So that's me.
As far as me, my mom believes she's got psychic abilities. She's always dabbled with Ouija boards and scribing and stuff like this, communicating, and she used to find it hilarious to have a bunch of kids in the neighborhood get together on a dark night on the front steps, and she would jump on the Ouija board and start talking. Now, she could have been messing with us, I don't know, but she would scare the crap out of most of us, and that's where I got started with it, and now I'm like, I can't be afraid of anything anymore because I've been so desensitized to that type of stuff. But it definitely stuck with me forever, and even now I sort of push that onto my kids a little bit. I try to scare them with stuff like that as well, not a Ouija board, but other things. So I find that to be a unique way to bond a little bit and get to know the world around you in a little bit different way than some people are used to.
Okay. What about you, Fuzzy and Sadie? Have you guys ever experienced anything?
Fuzzy, go ahead. I gotta take a second. I kind of have actually, but Fuzzy.
Okay. I got a couple, but I'll just mention one that B is probably familiar with. There was a time where we were living in a different part of Pennsylvania, and my brother was sick, and the outlook wasn't too promising. And I remember me and my wife were both heading downstairs, and I felt a presence, and I kind of saw something like run through both of us. And I thought it was weird, but I didn't recognize I didn't recognize them. And I just knew it wasn't my brother. Like, as sick as he may have been on deathbed and whatnot, I'm like, that's not my brother. I don't know who just ran through us. And I asked Fee, did she feel anything or notice anything? And at the time, I don't think she was, but I think she was focused on, I guess we were going somewhere. I can't remember where, but I just knew something was off. And I think we got the call not even an hour later, like maybe 40 minutes later, that her uncle had passed.
Yep.
And I don't know how he knew where we were, because I don't think he's ever seen the house or anything, but I don't know if that's how it works, if they just have to know a location or just find family kind of thing. But I just thought it was extremely weird. I mean, the house that we were in at that time had its own attached spirits, I guess you could say. But that one I never encountered. That entire, like, I had lived there at that point probably for 18 years in that house. So it was a different experience, just kind of feeling somebody running up the stairs and running through both of us as if, they were just passing by or in a hurry or something. But I just knew it was weird. And to get that call from her family later that her uncle had passed, I'm like, it must have been him. And, he looked at me kind of weird, but it's like, I knew it wasn't my brother. My brother, I think, had another couple of weeks before he passed. But like I said, I come from a long line of superstition in family and believing the veil over the eyes, which I don't know if there's anything to it. The afterbirth over the eyes or whatever. And it's like almost, that's supposedly in folklore, I guess you could say, to some extent, like a blessing or a kiss that you'll have that. But supposedly me and my brother had that. My mom had that. My grandmother had that. My sister, not so much. And there have been other family members that either see or hear things. Mine is mainly just feeling a presence. Sometimes I'll catch shadows or movement. Um, and what I used to think were just normal voices, I'm now being told by Fee it might be a skin crawler or
Skinwalker.
skinwalker instead of
We're in PA,
family. I don't know. Every now and then, like if I'm dreaming about family, I'll hear my name towards the end, like just before I'm waking up. But it's usually like a weird, we're going on a car ride type of weird dream, and it's like a startle wake up kind of thing. But yeah, I've rambled too much. Sadie, what experiences have you had?
I don't know. I'm just scared all the time, so it's probably mostly made up in my head kind of thing. Actually, growing up, our house was kind of creepy. It was really old, and my mom used to always get freaked out and said she would hear things when we were kids. But I always kind of felt like even I was left home alone a lot. Great parenting, let me tell you. But it always felt like someone was in the house. There were a lot of us. There were 7 of us growing up. But even when no one was there, like we would hear things like footsteps and stuff, or think someone would be home because we'd hear doors slamming, or just that kind of thing, which legitimately sounds very cliche about it, but it would really happen. And me and my twin sister, I remember one time, probably the only thing that I would say that I couldn't like debunk myself, because it was a in your face kind of thing. I think we were probably like 10 or 11 years old, but me and my twin were home alone, and don't know where it happened or what it was, but something really loud crashed into the house. And like we were both in different parts of the house. So we like both came running towards each other, like, what the hell was that? And we were in the kitchen. Well, we had, sliding glass doors, and I'm sure you know what it sounds like when a screen door opens and like slams shut, like the sliding one. So we're standing there, and like for a second we're quiet, but the door's literally 1 foot in front of us. Nothing moves, but it sounds like a door, the screen slamming open and then just slamming shut. We don't even look at each other. Like next thing I know, me and her both just take off running out of the house, because like it didn't move, but it was literally the sound of the door opening and closing right in front of our face. So we ended up running down to the neighbor's house and staying there until our parents came home later that night. But literally there's nothing that would have explained where that sound came from. So that's enough to make us not want to be home alone like ever again, when you're 10 years old. But that's probably been about the most paranormal thing I've done. But actually last year though, I did at Serfass go on a paranormal hunt with Dustin Perry from, what is he, Ghost Hunters? Yeah, from Ghost Hunters. And Dave Schrader. He's an author, and he's also on a couple of the TV shows, the Ghost Hunter or Paranormal Investigation ones. So that was pretty fun. I believe it was at like a library down in Lexington, Kentucky, that's supposed to be haunted. We used a spirit box and stuff and a couple other things, but
You guys catch anything?
there were a few times stuff came back on the spirit box. So yeah, but I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it's hard for me to hear it come through. Like there are some things we heard, and they caught some. They used I don't know what they like a special word that they would pick up on, like, and it was like if it was chocolate is the word I remember they picked, and if it came back through, like you would hear it on another device that they were using. I don't know what it was called, but it was a lot of fun. I liked doing it. So
Cool.
So yeah, my experiences have mainly been with kids. So as Fuzzy said, I didn't feel my uncle, like push me out of the way or run through me or whatever, but I mainly see mainly see children, mainly hear children, mainly feel when children are around. But I'm a teacher. Um, and just like Sadie, my mom left me alone a lot. When I was young, she was a single parent. And she worked as a nurse, so 12 to 16 hours was her shift. So me and my brother were mostly alone. And with my brother, he was legally blind when he was born. He eventually lost his sight when he was 40. So, he wasn't really seeing anything, but he could feel things too. And, he would try and tease me and stuff. Because even though I'm 2 years younger than him, I kind of still took care of him. But nothing like your brother, waking up and your brother starting to creak the door and go ooh type stuff. you know, and then all of a sudden he'd be like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So we did play with the Ouija board when we were younger and stuff like that. And everything. So, and then, I did the tarot cards, the runes, the oracle cards, and things like that. So that brings me to the question of what tools do you use and what tools are we going to see when you guys, are at the theater?
We have so many tools. We actually have uh, an Excel spreadsheet in our company folder that has the huge list of tools that we have. So forgive me, I can't remember all of them, but I'll tell you about our favorite ones. I think the one of the team favorites is a God helmet. That Oh my gosh. I don't even think I could actually explain exactly how it works. Chris, do you remember the details on that? If not, but
It sends different types of waves, electrical waves into your brain.
Theta
Like you're,
waves,
yeah,
beta waves, theta waves, beta waves, and I'm not sure what else. Basically, the kind of brain waves that induce like meditation and stuff, that help induce like visions and psychic senses and stuff like that.
and that's definitely a favorite.
It doesn't work for me though. Like it doesn't work
Yeah.
for me, but it works for everybody else.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
One of the other interesting things that we haven't had a chance to use yet, but I know Emily is really excited about. We actually have an EEG that can record to a phone so that we can see what's going on with Emily's brainwaves when she's channeling or meditating. That's one that I'm really excited about. And of course, then there's the fan favorite, the spirit box. Everybody loves that one. We use that a lot. We have not only a normal spirit box, but we also have a portal box that was developed by one of our executive producers and our paranormal consultant, Mark Sarro. And that one's really fun. It has a lot of different, actually, like musical, like guitar pedals attached to a normal SP7, sorry, and that scans through the waves and alters the sounds through the different pedals. And there's a lot of different things that you can do with that. And that one's custom made just for us by our paranormal consultant. So that's one of our favorites too.
Mm-hmm. We also have the paranormal puck. So that's the one I believe where you type in the questions and then you have this thing. It looks like a hockey puck that you set down and it's supposed to scan the room to see if it picks up anything and then it will answer back. So it's like an Ovulus, but you type the question in the phone app and then the puck analyzes and looks for the answer. We also have the EMF reader, so that looks at the electromagnetic fields and temperature. We have the EMF power. It's like it looks like a strip of Christmas lights, but it picks up like the different EMF. I don't know. I think it picks up temperature too, but it has different colors and each color means different things. And then we also have different kinds of REM pods. So we have like the stereotypical one. We have a music box kind. We have, I know we have another one, but I don't know. Oh, it's the one that looks like a lamp, like a. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the EMF lantern or the
Yeah,
trip
the lantern.
The
The
trip
lantern.
lantern.
Trip lantern, yes.
Yep. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's
Yeah.
more.
Almost every time we go out to investigate, Mark pulls something new out of his box, and we're like, "What the hell is this?" He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I just found it. It was in storage." And we're like, "All right, let's see what this one does."
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
because
got quite the collection of toys.
he does. He's our paranormal consultant, and he has
Mhm.
been investigating for more than 30 years. So he has
Okay.
lots of experience and all kinds of tools that he's collected over the years. We're very lucky.
Okay.
Nice.
So I wasn't sure if anybody heard this. I know I told Fuzzy. But we had like a major outage across the country for the emergency system a few weeks ago, right? And I heard that Annabelle was actually in Pennsylvania at that time outside of the actual museum. What is your take on that? Coincidence or not?
I have an answer.
Go ahead.
So okay, I've seen Annabelle in person,
Mhm.
and actually she's been in Pennsylvania quite a few times and nothing like that's happened. I honestly think it's coincidence. However, because people are feeding into that hysteria, it is feeding the entities associated with it. I'm calling it an it because it's not a he or a she, it's it, and there's multiple entities associated with it. But I just think it's coincidence. But at the same time, when you acknowledge something like that and you add to like the fear, you're all you're doing is feeding the negativity associated with it. But yeah, I don't think it was the entity itself,
Okay.
or entities, I should say.
Okay. Do you think there's ever been a situation, I know we've, dramatizations, and I know especially we just watched the latest Conjuring movie. My curiosity is that now I know you guys are just doing the paranormal experience where you're recording everything and stuff like that. But have you come across anything that it's like you don't think it should be out in the public? That it could be dangerous?
Like, are you asking how would we handle it? Kind
Well,
of.
I mean, have you ever come across anything like that, when you've gone out? So say you did find something at the theater and stuff like that, that you thought maybe this shouldn't be just around nor everybody. What would you do with something like that?
So we kind of did, but it wasn't associated with the theater. It was something that was in-house within our team members.
Mhm.
And it kind of blew up to be something more than it should have been,
Mhm.
just because of how it was handled, which is
Mhm.
somewhat my fault, but also due to the thing attached to the item. It was a haunted mirror, but
Mhm.
essentially I had a whole plan that I was going to do, like to take care of the haunted mirror, and I had everything planned out. But what happened was, every time I would try to execute the plan, something stupid would happen that would get in the way. So like my plan was to seal it up, take it outside into a national park away from people, and bury it in the ground and just let it let the earth take care of it. But every time I was going to do that, like it either bad weather or I would get really sick, and then it just kept piling up to that, and then stuff within the house started to happen. So like then my basement kept flooding, and then my roof started to leak, and then all this bad stuff on the house would pile up to the point where I couldn't do what I needed to do. And I was like, hey Mark, so this is happening, and I wanted to do all this stuff, but now I can't because all this stuff is now happening, and I should have just bit the bullet when the bad weather was going on. But you know, I was thinking about safety and all that. But he's like, I'll take care of it. And so he essentially got it destroyed and took care of it. But so that is what happened with that.
Yeah, so just to build on that, safety is our number one priority when it comes to our team. So if there's ever anything like that, it's really important to us that we handle it the appropriate way. The mirror was a really unfortunate incident. It wasn't something where the person intentionally created a problem. The mirror was something that person created like 8 years ago, but it is a good representation of our team and how we work together. And if something's not going right, if something feels wrong, we have a strong sense of community within the team to make sure that that gets handled quickly and effectively, because we want to do this for a long time, so we don't want to have anything bad happening to any of our team members.
Yeah, so the thought of safety and the thought of what to do afterward has crossed you guys' minds and everything like that. Because I can foresee, you know, once you start stirring things up, right? They always say, you know, when you go into a home, you buy a home and you start repairing the home, things start in the house and everything, because whatever's left behind doesn't like change. So yeah. So I was just curious. Anybody else have any questions? Come on. I can't be
I
the
have
only one.
a little bit of an odd one when it comes to the process of like documenting or capturing footage or tallying recordings and things like that. Have you ever had either weird malfunctions or a product that you or one of the tools fail? Like you expected it to record for, let's say, 2 hours and it recorded for 0 hours, or the recording is completely garbled, like, and everything else seems functioning, normally, but during the setup, and not because of the setup, but during the setup, something went awry. Has that ever occurred during any of your investigations?
Almost every single one. Emily, do you want to talk about the entity attached to Brett's camera?
Oh my god. Yeah, so the thing is, when you go to any location, especially if it's haunted, so those items will collect energy over time. And if you don't cleanse them, it can become a problem. And or on top of that, you have active things going on that will try to feed off of the battery life, or just simply sabotage the equipment because it wants your negative reaction to feed off of that energy. So Brett's camera right now has an entity attached to it which feeds off of it and also sabotages it just because it feeds off of his reaction, because of course when your equipment fails, it's going to piss you off, so it feeds off of that. And it looks like a bug, like it's a bug entity type looking thing. I had drawn it, but I guess you guys have that drawing somewhere. But it literally looks like a cicada mixed with like a giant horsefly, and it's just there sucking out the battery. But that can easily be solved by making sure that equipment is cleansed after all investigations. But yeah.
So just to build on that story, what ended up happening with Brett's camera, and it was only Brett's camera. So we have 3 Sony, or two Sony and one Canon IR cameras, and the other two. Chris, did you even have a battery change throughout that evening?
Yeah, I think I had a couple, but not nothing nearly as bad as him.
Brett had 8 battery changes throughout one evening. That is not normal or
Yeah.
usual for those kind of cameras at all.
Wow. Yeah. So, what has been your best or your scariest or both experience while you've been doing this?
Well, I guess my favorite thing is the people that we work with. And paranormal investigating, it's an overnight process. So we have a whole group of people that are staying up until 5 in the morning to investigate. It can be a lot of hurry up and wait because we don't fake our evidence. We wait for actual evidence to present itself. There have been times, entire evenings at the theater where we got absolutely nothing. So the more important part, I think, of the team is how well we all synergize together, and that is actually my favorite part. And I think that once the show comes out, I think that'll be other people's, favorite part too, because we're really showing ourselves, who we are as a team, our different personalities. There's some funny moments, there's some serious moments, but when it comes down to it, showing up on well, I mean, I guess it's technically a set, but going to our location, I'm just excited for the people that we work with. So it's like a little family. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're pretty much forced to get along with a bunch of people because you're stuck in a location for 8 to 12 hours, and you're either going to get along or you're not. I mean, you're forced there unless you don't want to be a part of the team. You have two choices: either don't be a part of it, or learn to enjoy yourself and learn to enjoy all the quirks of everybody around you. Which I think we've all done pretty well. We've all learned that you know, Brains here does her thing, and it's awesome. Um, Brett, he likes to spit out puns all the time, and every once in a
Do
while
the worm.
do the worm. And so we've got a very fun team. Everybody's very good energy there. We're all coming to the same place for the same reason, because we want to be there. None of us feel forced to be there, and I think as long as we keep that going, we'll have a good time.
Mm-hmm. I want to second everything that Alex and Chris just said, but then add in like the I don't know what you want to call it, Alex. It's like our little raising our vibration,
Our pre-show ritual. Should we?
Yeah, with Sandstorm and dancing to that. And I feel like just getting the energy up helps the investigations, because it's like when spirit and everything around like sees that our vibration is higher, then I feel like it makes them want to come out and play. Yay. But also Brett's bloopers, like that so far has been the best. I know I miss a lot of it, but what I've caught so far, I'm so excited for just that part to come out. But also, and this might sound a little egotistical, but because I have to go in blindfolded, I don't know anything about any of the locations when I go in. So everything is a surprise. So before I go to any of the locations, I do a pre-channel the night before to kind of help get my like energy to the location. And again, like I said, the location's a secret. I don't know what it is. And then going in and channeling information and then being validated. It's like that validation and seeing the reactions on everybody's face. To me, that's like the best part, because that kind of validates that I'm not crazy.
Very true. Very true. I know exactly that firsthand. So I guess my piggyback question is, has there ever been something that, like Fuzzy said, did not record that you wish had?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's plenty of things, but the first thing that comes to mind has to do with our team member Tim, and he's also been a paranormal investigator for 30 years. He was on Mark's team prior to Astral Paranormal many years ago, and he had gone downstairs for a segment. He was just taking a break, getting some water and a snack. It was around 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was at the Everett Theatre. We were all upstairs in the wardrobe filming a segment. Tim was all by himself, and around like 3 o'clock or 3:15, he's standing there, and the front doors begin to shake violently. Now this was a clear summer evening. There was no wind. It was still. It was hot. There was nobody that was outside who was rattling the doors. Tim is also I would say that he's more of a skeptic on our team. So he doesn't get, jump to conclusions very easily. But this incident is one that really scared him. And he had run all the way upstairs to the wardrobe to tell us about it. And I had actually heard the doors while we were filming, and I was kind of looking around, and then all of a sudden here comes Tim, and he's visibly shaking and sweating. And that's not something that's typical for Tim. So when I saw him like that, I knew something had really happened.
I think too, when that happened, I was in the bathroom and I was sitting there and I'm like, why do I see a fire and then people rushing to the door? And then I didn't say anything until I came back, and then I heard him say what he experienced. And I was like, hey, by the way, I experienced this while I was in the bathroom. So I didn't know if that had any correlation. But then Brett looked it up and he's like, yeah, there was a fire here. Actually, there were a few. And I was like, oh. And I didn't know if that had any correlation to what Tim had experienced, but I don't think you guys caught that on camera either.
Yeah, we didn't get the actual incident on camera, but we will definitely interview him about that incident. But I so wish that we had caught that on camera, and we've actually tried multiple times to get that to happen again and catch it on camera. Chris has put his black magic camera in the lobby facing the doors for an entire evening. We've had GoPros out there, and it hasn't happened again, but it sure scared the crap out of Tim.
Okay. So any last questions, guys? Buzzy? Sadie?
Sadie, you have anything?
Nope. Not right now, but once we're done here, I'll have 100 of them pop in my freaking head.
Always. So yeah, I know that Chris had said, around 8:30 he was going to pop out. Yeah, he's shaking his head.
Yeah, I've got another call at 8:30.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to, kind of like sum things up and everything. So definitely want you guys to tell us all about, I will put up the link for everybody for tickets and stuff like that if they want to go. But tell us all the details.
So we're going to be having our live event at the Everett Theatre. We're going to be producing or presenting all of our evidence that we've done over our last several investigations. The event is October 10th at 7:30 in Middletown, Delaware at the Everett Theatre. In addition to presenting evidence, we're also going to have a live Q&A where you can ask any kinds of questions that you want to cast, crew. We'll have lots of different merch available. The whole thing is going to be, I think, an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And yeah, tickets are available now. Anybody want to add anything?
The theater is a nonprofit theater. So they, you know, they run on events like these. So the more people, the more tickets we sell, the better off they are for the evening.
Yes.
So we want people to come out. Black Cat Films will have stuff out there. Trimungus will have stuff out there. I'm sure the Fine Art Medium will have some of her own stuff out there. So we're gonna have like tables set up for different people to buy different things. Talk to us. If you feel that we're so popular that you want to take a picture with us, we're there for it. Yeah, we're there for the people. We want to hang out with people, and if you're a special person, then Mark might take you on a tour of the theater, some of the hot spots we found. But yeah, we definitely want people to come out. We also have a live stream on 9/20. So Sadie, if you have any questions that you come up with, write them down and send them to us, and maybe we'll touch on them on our live stream.
Absolutely. 9/20. That's my birthday, guys.
There you go. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Glad
And
you
just
know.
so
27 again.
yes, I forgot to mention the event is a fundraiser for this theater. It is nonprofit. It's over 100 years old. They've kept it in immaculate condition. It's actually where a part of a Dead Poets Society was filmed. And when you go
awesome.
to the theater, you can actually see where Robin Williams sat for the screening of the movie. They've covered it in black fabric, where the rest of the seats are red.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something interesting about the theater. And yes, there will be. It's a event to raise funds to continue to run the theater and continue to take care of it. And they're a group of really hardworking, passionate, creative people. So it's definitely a good event.
Got to keep the theater going. Theater and the arts alive. Because they do live stage shows and they do movies, so it's a mixed bag of everything. So it's a good place to go to. I wish I wasn't so far away from it because I'd go there more often, but it's good that it's available.
They do have a website, theeveretttheater.com, and if you are in the Middletown, Delaware area, they have a lot of events going on all the time, all year long. And then one of the other things at our event, do you want to talk about your Oracle cards before we close?
Sure, yeah. So I will be doing, I guess, a demonstration. Do you want me to say what exactly the demonstration is, or just leave that as like secret? Okay. So essentially, I will have my decks there as long as they arrive on time, in the next 11 days. But if you're interested, you can pick up your very own deck that we use. And these are paranormal and spiritual guidance based cards. So if you are someone that likes to go on investigations, these cards are really good at validating evidence or psychic impressions. So
did you want to?
We will have them for sale at our event. If for any reason they're late, you will still be able to purchase a deck at the event to be shipped to you at a later date. So either way, you'll be able to get your hands on the handmade Oracle deck that Emily created herself.
Thanks, Alex.
So let's throw out a little pricing here. Tickets are how much, and how much would the cards be?
So tickets for the event are $15.
Okay.
And the cards are $55.
Okay. This way people know, how to bring. Are you guys for the merchandise that you are going to have there? Is it just going to be cash only or credit cards?
We'll be able to accept electronic payments as well, Venmo and things like that.
Okay. This way everybody knows ahead of time, because I know when we go to the conventions, it's cash is king. So
true. That is true. But we will have electronic payments available as well.
Okay. So final thoughts from you guys before we do outros?
one other thing at the event, we're gonna have a raffle, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna have a large raffle basket that's going to hopefully include some gift cards from some local vendors local to the Middletown, Delaware area. It will also contain merchandise from Black Ave, Trimungus, Astral Paranormal. Emily donated some jewelry and some goodies to the basket as well. There's also going to be paintings of the entities that we have encountered at the Everett Theatre, done by Emily Leto. And then there is one little other fun thing that we have. We have mystery bags. Their total worth is $28, but we're selling them for $13, and it's all kinds of Astral Paranormal stuff and stickers, jewelry, incense are the things that you can expect in those mystery bags. There's a limited amount. We only have 24. And once they're gone, they're gone. But that's what we're going to have.
Okay.
Nice.
So
I want a bag.
You got it.
okay,
Sign me up.
so what we got to do is, because I know that Fuzzy and me, I know he's gonna be like, why'd you say that after we get off? But we can come out. It is not that far from us. I'm roping him into this because besides Crimson Harvest, that would probably be the last thing we do kind of for the season, because I don't have anything that I signed up for. Unless I get that all call again from Ron.
You might.
Hey, you guys didn't take me out of the flicker, right? You guys kept me in. I know Joe was the star, but
No, you're in it. Of course, you're in it.
so so during the outro, we're I'm gonna have Fuzzy start it off. But during the outro, if you guys can tell me what your kind of favorite horror movie is, that'd be great. It doesn't have to be paranormal. It could be something totally different. But Fuzzy, you want to start?
Oh, for like my favorite horror movie?
Well, not just your favorite horror movie, but anything that we're gonna be doing besides you playing video games.
There's a couple of like horror video games that are coming out. One's called Chronos, and the other one is Hell Is Us. But all of those things aside, this was an awesome, conversation, and looking forward to the event here. Was it 10/10? So pretty much next month. Looking forward to being there at the theater and everything. And it was awesome getting your guys' feedback or input as far as like the paranormal activity and the investigation aspect of things, and how you guys all came together. And to touch on my favorite horror movie, I'm more of a zombie fan, although some people don't necessarily consider the 28 Days Rage Zombie or Rage virus being zombie-like, but that's my favorite. Although Dawn of the Dead is another one, the more recent one, but the original is still pretty cool as well. But it was awesome having you guys on here. Look forward to next month, and thanks for taking the time to sit with us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Chris, you wanna?
I mean, I've got a lot of favorites. They're all in different like subcategories. I'll go with my probably one of my higher up overall categories would probably be the original It, with Tim Curry playing Pennywise the clown. It's one of my all-time favorites. It creeped me out as a kid. It was just made for TV movie that was just so it built the suspense, and it scared you, and it was meant to scare kids, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. And I love it for that. And obviously, like I said, Tim Curry, all the other actors in there were so great, and just the whole direction of the movie was fabulous. And I'm also a huge Stephen King fan, so that helps. Alex, what's yours?
So my favorite horror movie is going to have to be Three from Hell. I've always
Hell
been
yeah.
a huge Rob Zombie fan. I love his movies, but I really feel like Three from Hell took his original concept and added high production value, a real strong plot, and a subplot, and the characters were so much stronger in that film. I feel like it's his most cinematic work, and that's what makes it my favorite.
Mine, I would say, like Chris, is kind of hard. I have quite a few, but I would say anything within the Conjuring universe. I really like The Nun. I really like the really scary movies, especially because I'm so desensitized. So if there's anything that can actually scare me, that actually makes me really excited. And I like how the Conjuring series kind of plays off of their cases, even if they're loosely based. So,
All right. Sadie?
All right, so I definitely can't pick favorites really well, so we're gonna go into a couple little sections here. But so growing up, I was always terrified of tremors, like to the point I would tiptoe to the bathroom at nighttime. Like, so that one is always classic to me. But as an adult and biased here, I like Rob Zombie movies also. House of a Thousand Corpses is my top one. Um, Obviously, Robert Mukes is one of my favorite people. Go figure. So working with him on Crimson Harvest was like dream come true because I loved him before, when I was like freaking 14 years old. Um, but it's not just like that kind of horror that I like. I'm into paranormal stuff also. So doing this episode was really fun. I also enjoyed having you guys on. So thanks for being here. And I like cryptids and stuff. I like Mothman, and I like, learning about aliens and, Loch Ness, whatever. I believe in that kind of stuff as well. So that's a big thing for me too. Anything to do with that.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm surprised Fuzzy didn't say, the Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. He usually says that. I guess he didn't want to go horror comedy. But, I'm going to go horror comedy. So I really like the Independence, and I know I torture my crew with Independence a lot. But one of my favorites is How to Kill a Zombie. It's, low budget, but I think the back and forth, because it's a father and son that made the movie along with, mom. And, it's just the back and forth that they have, and then the other characters that come along and stuff that, really made me like this movie, even though, of course, there's plot holes and there's low budget stuff, but I'm still an independent girl at heart. So, but, we're going to be back on Friday, guys, for our usual live show at 6 p.m. doing Pitch Black. But we definitely thank Alex, M, and Chris for coming out tonight and talking with us. And yes, I'm going to drag Fuzzy to Middletown. Hopefully he won't be kicking and screaming that much.
No, I won't be. I'm
I might have
interested in
big hugs for
paranormal
you.
stuff, so
Yeah.
it's not a fight.
So I don't have to butter you up?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
It'll be a good time. It'll be worth it.
I'm
Yeah.
jealous. Why do I have to be all the way in Ohio?
I don't know.
Like, and I have a real job. I gotta I'm surprised they still have a job at this point.
It's only 8 hours away. Come on.
Yeah, get your mystery bag.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
need
save us.
the whole weekend off work because I need to go buy stuff. Like,
It's the circle, right? I need a job to buy stuff. But I wanna be there to buy it, but I need the job. Yeah, we all get it. So
listen, I do this, like the horror stuff, more seriously. That I can always find another job somewhere. They know that.
So, but yeah, we'll catch. We'll grab a mystery bag for you, save it for you, put our name on
I
one of them.
appreciate
Okay.
you guys.
But thank you very much for being with us, and we'll report back with updates. I definitely will have all of your information, at the bottom of the recording for everybody to see, along with where they can purchase tickets and everything like that. All right.
you so
Thank
much.
you. All right.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.